Hey there, I want to show you how to spread acrylic paint onto a Bible page. You can do this in a way that will cause it to look transparent, but what we first need to look at is the actual product that you'll put in, what type of paint, and then how to actually do it. So a heavy body acrylic paint is what you're looking for. Heavy body means that it's quite thick, and you can see when you open this, it doesn't really just come flying out. It actually has a sort of shape to it, and it will keep that shape almost. And if you stop squeezing, you can suck it back in. It's just real nice and thick. That is what you're after, and it needs to say heavy body on it for you to know that. So what you want to do is get heavy body, and then you also want to do one other test, and that is to see, is the paint going to dry clear? Now, I know that the Liquitex Professional Heavy Body Acrylic Paint will always dry with a matte finish, and that's what we're after. You could potentially, if you can find it stocked, Dina Wakely Media has a heavy body acrylic paint, and those are equally possible if you can find them, but I know Liquitex is more widely available. You probably find it at most craft stores. So if you have a matte drying, as in it's not glossy and it's heavy body, then you've found the right kind of paint. I wouldn't recommend using a basic craft paint because it will be quite liquidy, which will lead to your page being wrinkled by it, and it will potentially bleed through to the other side. If you use a heavy body acrylic paint, that's not really going to be a problem. So as we get into this page here and we want to add some color, you need to ask yourself what kind of color. Now, I'm using an old card. You could use a credit card, an old debit card, something like that, a hotel room key if you've got one of those, anything like that. This is one I picked up somewhere. You can use these to apply the paint to your page. So let's have a look at what happens when we add this color here, which is Light Portrait Pink. So I'm going to take the lid off, and what I'm going to do is all of this paint isn't going to go anywhere, it's going to stay. So I'm going to put just a pea-sized amount right here, and then I'm just going to scrape it off the lid right there. So I've got a little bit on here, and it's not going to rush out of here because it is heavy body. So now I'm going to apply it to this top side here. I'm going to put my card straight down, and then I'm going to pull like this. And you can see it's very, very simple. Now, the back of my card, or this front side, doesn't actually have any paint on it. So if I feel like it's too thick, I can go back over it this way. And then I can just keep applying color as I see fit. And I can still read everything underneath here. And that is what is so fun about this. You can see I've got a little bit of layering here because there's a darker spot and a lighter spot. Now see, all I'm doing is I am holding the card with my two fingers here and my thumb here, and I'm just placing it somewhere, and then I'm bending it like this so it's a bit taut, and holding the space away from it, I just pull nice and tight. And then I've made that color go on there. So I'm going to do just a tiny bit more here. And if I'm done, you can see I did a pea-sized amount and I still have just tons of this left. And I can go on to my adjacent page. If I wanted to go in to the edge here, I have a potential to go onto these pages. Hence the reason I would grab a craft sheet. This is a very, very heat sensitive and easy to clean craft sheet from Ranger. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put that right behind my page here. And that way, if I go over the edge like this, it's just going to make all of that mess there stay on the craft sheet, which I can clean with a baby wipe. So now that I've put this on here, I want to show you something. So I'm going to grab a paper towel and just put my paint in there, give it a nice swipe so that it's clean, and then I can use it next time. I can store it and it's good to go. But what if I want to add a darker color? I want to show you what happens. So this is a real light color, and you can see on the back of the page there's a tiny bit of dampness, but there's no real shadowing because it's not very dark. But if I add this dark color here, this is Prussian blue hue, I'm going to put even less than a pea-sized amount on here. So I'm just putting this right where this is. I'm putting a little bit on there and then scraping it off the edge. And then I'm going to put this on here. So again, I'm going to find the spot that I want to start. I'm going to overlap this other color. And in case you're wondering, this is a tiny bit wet right there, like you can see, because there's a little bit of a thickness right here. But everything else is just clean and already dry. So as long as you don't leave little clumps, it's going to do it really fast. It'll dry and you'll be ready to go. Now if I do this darker color, I'm gonna change hands with what I'm doing here. You can see I am using this page. I want you to see what happens here because I don't want you to make this mistake in your Bible. This is a Bible that I am using specifically to teach you so that you don't have to make mistakes in your Bible. And I believe that because I am teaching you how to respect your Bible and look after your copy of the Word, that you can treat it with care, and you'll be more able to know how to do that. So you can see right here that I've covered this. I can still read the words, but it is exceptionally difficult to do so. And if I do this on here, you can see the thick areas quite easily. So I'm going to make sure that I get rid of those thickened areas. And I'm going to stick to just using this on my margin area because I want you to see what's going on behind the scenes. So I'm going to get this paint off of my card. And then I'm going to have you look at the back side of this. So you can see very clearly where the dark is. And you really can't tell that I've added this sort of pale pink color up here. But all of this dark stuff is very, very noticeable as it's coming through. And it's not because it's bled through, it's because it's shadowing. And that's the difference. A light color will not do much shadowing. A dark color always will. And if you look on this side, you'll find that these lighter colors are really easy to make out what is actually on the page. I can read it quite clearly, but this is much harder. And off camera, I can actually make out what's behind this, but it is very, very difficult to do so. And so I would recommend that if you want to spread paint on with an old card, get yourself a card and do yourself a favor and put the light colors on over the text if you wish, and spread your paint of dark colors over on your margin if you have that. So I hope you found this helpful for how to spread acrylic paint into your Bible. This should open up lots of ideas for you as you use some heavy body acrylic paint to add color easily. And you can go over these areas with colored pencil and pen. Just make sure that this is completely dry because the dampness could affect your felt pens. And otherwise, this is a perfect way for you to add color to your page and have it act as a nice little background for other creativity.